Reality TV dating isn't just entertainment, it's a pressure cooker. You watch attractions spark in real time and insecurities boil over. Grown adults make choices that make you yell at the TV screen. Oh, honey, no, don't do it. But take away the hot tub mics and the mood lighting, and it's not really that different from real life. The mistakes, the emotions, we've all been there, just without the fantasy suite budget. That's why these shows are such gold. They put dating under a magnifying glass, and when you look real close, you see patterns. Some are cautionary tales, some are surprisingly encouraging, and a few might just make you rethink the way you're going about it. So today we're pulling out 20 things we can learn from reality dating TV. If that sounds at all interesting, I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. The limo door opens, somebody steps out, and you can almost see the gears turning in their heads before they even shake hands. I'm winning this thing. Forget compatibility, forget connection. This isn't about do we connect. It's about I want the ring or the final rose or the champagne toast on the balcony, whatever it is. And that seems pretty far-fetched, but don't we do the same thing in real life? You go on a date and halfway through, instead of checking in with yourself, do I like them? Do I feel good here? Am I comfortable? You're strategizing. You're putting on your best self. You're stacking little mental victories and competing against people who aren't even in the room. You want to win, and you forget to ask if the prize even fits in your life. The trouble with a competition mindset is you absolutely can win. You can chase somebody and pull out all the stops, prove yourself, and land them. Victory achieved. But then what? You're sitting there polishing a trophy you didn't even want? Realizing that you worked your tail off to win a relationship that doesn't actually make you happy. Real love isn't a contest. There is no scoreboard, no invisible competition. So if you catch yourself gunning for the win, pause and ask yourself the scarier question. Do I actually like this person? Or do I just want to feel chosen? Have you noticed how the second one contestant becomes desirable, suddenly the whole house is in love with them? They weren't even on half the cast radar yesterday, but the minute somebody else claims them as a front runner, boom, they're irresistible suddenly. Yeah, that's not romance. That's psychology. And it happens in real life, too. You're at a dinner party, chatting away, not really paying much attention to the guy across the table, but then you see other women leaning in and laughing and treating him like he's the star of the show. And suddenly, you can't stop looking. He didn't get more attractive, he got more validated. Validation, right? That's not the same thing as compatibility. That's herd mentality, the scarcity effect. It's the last cookie on the plate trick, and it only looks mouthwatering because everybody else wants it. But here's the risk. If you follow that pull without stopping to ask if you actually connect with the person, you're not choosing them, you're chasing their market value. Which, again, is fine if you're buying gold, but terrible if you're trying to build intimacy. So before you get swept off your feet in the hype, check yourself. Are you attracted because you feel it, or because the crowd told you this is the prize? In the pods on Love is Blind, there's no eye contact, no body language, no spark in the traditional sense. Just hours of questions and answers and conversation and jokes and laughing through a wall. People scribbling notes like they're prepping for the SATs. It doesn't look romantic, but weirdly, it works. People fall for each other because they've actually talked. And that right there is the difference between chemistry and compatibility. Chemistry is the jolt. It's fun. It's thrilling. But it's surface level. You can have instant sparks with somebody who'd make a nightmare partner. Compatibility is quieter. It shows up in how you both solve problems, whether you laugh at the same silly things, and how your values match up without needing a TED Talk. The problem is we often mistake chemistry for proof. We had sparks, so it must mean something. No, chemistry is the trailer music cranked up really loud. Compatibility is the script. Without the script, all you've got is noise. Sparks feel exciting, but if there's no firewood, you're going to be cold in 20 minutes. Compatibility is what keeps the fire going long after the sparks fade, but you also need the spark too. So a lot of those relationships fail in real life because they can't seem to get there. By week 3 on a lot of these shows, someone's already crying about being in love, and another person is fumbling through a proposal speech that they clearly practiced in the hotel bathroom 5 minutes ago. 3 weeks. I mean, that's barely enough time to learn each other's coffee order, but apparently it's plenty of time to commit to a lifetime with somebody. Would you be surprised to hear that we do our own version of this in real life? Oh yeah, we do. 2 great dates, some late night texts, and suddenly you're imagining holiday dinners with the kids all around, or wondering if they'd fit in at your cousin's wedding next year. Your brain goes into full HGTV mode, building the dream house before you've even checked if the foundation's solid. A couple years ago, my mom got really impressed by my videos when she was finally forced onto social media and watched a couple of them. By me, obviously. So a few weeks go by, and she swings by my house to return some of my, glass storage containers. We've been in a 20-year cycle of swapping side dishes like it's currency. And she gives me this very serious look, and she says, Carrie, that red subscribe button, does it charge people when they press it? I said, Mom, no, it's free. It's YouTube. And she said, oh, thank God. I've been telling all my friends to press it, and I didn't want them getting billed. So, just to clear it up for my mom, and maybe for you too, that little red subscribe button doesn't cost a thing, but it does help me out a ton. So please, click it. Because if my mom's out here running a grassroots PR with nothing but a rotary phone and raw determination, the least you can do is click the button. Now back to the good stuff. Falling fast feels like passion. That's a tongue twister. But often it's just adrenaline. It's skipping over the questions that actually matter. How do they handle stress? What happens when they don't get their own way? Can they sit with you in silence, or do they need a constant stream of noise going on at all times? Those things only show up with time. On TV, that rushing looks romantic, but in real life, it usually just means you're bonding with the fantasy instead of the actual person. So slow down and let consistency, not adrenaline, tell you if it's real. Number 5, nothing gets airtime like jealousy. Someone else gets the one-on-one date, and suddenly you've got a grown man sulking by the pool like he just lost his favorite toy, or a fantasy football game. Or you see contestants whispering in the corner and the rest of the house acting like they witnessed high treason. The producers love it because jealousy makes great TV. In real life, jealousy doesn't come with dramatic music, but it steals the show anyway. 2 dates in, no commitment yet, what? Suddenly you're side-eyeing their phone like it's a mistress. You start asking questions you don't have the right to ask yet, and maybe expect exclusivity a long time before you've actually earned it. The problem is jealousy doesn't protect anything, and it doesn't help build closeness either. It just pushes people away, and nobody wants to feel policed, especially before there's even a relationship to protect. On reality TV, jealousy makes ratings, but off-screen, it makes exhaustion. You don't need to guard the castle if you haven't even decided whether you want to live there yet. I had a client, she just kept calling him while he was traveling to check in. Like, did she not believe he was on this trip? By the time he got home from this trip 2 weeks later, he was over it. Her jealousy had pushed him away in just 2 weeks, which was a shame because it was a really great match. Just when the contestants finally seem a little settled, the producers throw a curveball. A new arrival. Suddenly the couple who were super cozy last night are side-eyeing each other, and the secure partner is pacing the mansion like their lease is about to expire. That's dating apps in a nutshell. You could be mid-conversation, feeling really good, and your phone buzzes. Oh, new people in your area, somebody new on the apps, and instantly your focus shifts. Is there somebody better? Am I about to miss out? You start swiping again instead of listening to the person who's already in front of you. Well, sort of in front of you, on the line with you. It feels like possibility, but really it's just a distraction because every time you chase the next shiny option, you're cutting off the chance to see what depth looks like. And depth, as you well know, is where the connection breathes, where it lives, where it starts. More swipes don't mean better matches. They just mean more half-finished conversations and fewer chances to let anything real take hold. Contestants on these shows, of course, know that the cameras are rolling. I know they forget sometimes. But half their behavior is theater. You'll hear them give these dramatic speeches about being here for the right reasons or raising a glass like they're auditioning for a wine commercial. And it's so obvious. It's not about the connection. It's about how they look to the audience. We do this too, even without cameras. People go on dates sometimes not to connect, but to perform. You laugh a little bit louder than you actually feel. You wear the outfits you don't necessarily love, but your friend said, makes your shoulders look so broad or makes your legs look so long. You order the meal that sounds impressive, but you don't, really even have a taste for it. And suddenly you're not dating, you're auditioning. The problem is that you can perform your way into being liked, probably, but then what? You've built chemistry on a version of yourself that maybe you don't even enjoy living as? Keeping that mask on long term is exhausting, trust me, and eventually the real you shows up anyway. A relationship that lasts doesn't need an audience. It needs two people who can sit across a table without props or a script and still feel mostly like themselves. In these shows, it's never just two people dating. There are producers whispering in their ears, contestants stirring the pot, the host dropping cryptic hints, and of course, millions of viewers judging from home. The relationship has more outside voices than actual conversations between the couple. Real life isn't really much different. You start dating and suddenly your friends have opinions, your kids weigh in, your coworkers are gossiping, and even your ex somehow makes their commentary known. Before long, you're not asking yourself, do I like this person? You're asking, will everyone else approve? Advice is useful, sure. Sometimes other people see red flags that we're too dazzled to notice, but too many voices and you can't hear your own self. You end up building a relationship to satisfy the peanut gallery instead of your own heart. Two people is enough for a relationship. You don't need a focus group. The infamous fantasy suite on the Bachelor and Bachelorette shows, the candles and the champagne and rose petals all over, all staged to make it look like intimacy equals romance. But let's be honest, half the time these couples have known each other for about as long as it takes to binge a Netflix show. Yeah, you've guessed it, real life does this too, just without the camera crew. You meet somebody great, right? Sparks fly, and suddenly you're acting like you've been together for months because it makes you feel so secure and it's exciting and you feel comfortable. You're spending every weekend at their place, maybe even leaving a toothbrush somewhere in the bathroom, playing house before you've really even decided if you're truly compatible. The catch is, intimacy is glue. Once you attach too soon, it becomes harder to see things clearly. You can ignore the red flags and you make excuses for bad behavior and you stay because you've already merged too much, too fast to back away. Taking your time doesn't kill the spark, trust me. If anything, it lets you see if the spark has legs or if it was just a flash in the pan. Every reality dating show has that 1 week where the producers clearly get bored and start stirring the pot. Suddenly, a side comment turns into a scandal. Somebody sighs in the wrong direction and it's edited to look like betrayal. The drama keeps the ratings up. We get it, right? But it has nothing to do with actual love. And some people live their real lives the same way. They confuse chaos for passion. If things feel too calm, they poke the bear. They pick fights and they misinterpret texts. They stir things up because they think intensity equals intimacy. But drama doesn't bond you. Trauma bonding isn't really a positive thing. It distracts you. It fills the space where real connection could be, with noise that feels important but isn't. Love isn't supposed to feel like a soap opera, people. If your relationship requires commercial breaks, then you're not in love. You're in reruns. Hear me, calm isn't boring. Calm is safe. If you don't know the difference, you're going to keep chasing chaos and calling it passion, and you shouldn't want to do that. Picture it. Contestants lounging under palapas with margaritas in hand, talking about paradise. I mean, it looks like romance on steroids. But give it a few days and you see who actually relaxes into it and who unravels. Some people want adventure and some want nothing but a beach chair. Some can roll with chaos when travel plans change. Others can snap because the margarita salt wasn't the right color. Vacations have a way of pulling the curtain back. You get to see how somebody handles being out of their element, how they choose to spend downtime, and whether they treat waitstaff with respect after a long day. That's when the real personality starts to show up, not at the fancy dinner that nobody's even taking a bite of. Vacations feel like a test, but the truth is, everyday life is the real exam. Grocery runs, Sunday mornings, sitting on the couch after a long week. That's where relationships either feel easy or they start to feel like work. Vacations are just the trailer, the day-to-day, right? The trip to the cleaner, hanging out with the family. That's the movie. And if the movie doesn't play, then the trailer doesn't really matter. Reality TV might crank the drama up to 11, but underneath the ATVs and the horseback riding, it's just human nature on display. The competition mindset, the jealousy, the herd mentality. We've all felt those same pulls in real life, just without the, wardrobe changes. But here's the good news. When you notice the patterns, you can choose differently. You don't have to chase the prize just to win or get caught up in somebody else's validation or mistake adrenaline for love. You can slow down, tune in, and decide what's actually working for you. And that's the biggest takeaway here. Love isn't a TV season with eliminations and cliffhangers. It's real life, which means you get to write the script. You get to call the shots and decide who stays for the final rose without a person, a producer, or somebody whispering in your ear. All right. I hope you found that interesting or helpful. If you did, you might want to check out the full episode on that whole thing about self-esteem and allowing somebody else to influence how you feel about yourself. Hey, before you go, please give my little mama the thumbs up. She watches just one show, just The Bachelor. She says she just likes to see the girls and how pretty they look getting out of the limo. She's so cute. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave, because unlike reality TV, there's no reruns here, and I'd hate for you to miss what's next. I appreciate you being here today, and until next time, have a good one.